Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Okay, I can see. All right. Gosh, I forgot to push go live on YouTube. I'm sorry about that. That's. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. It is what it is. All right. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Okay, we'll start from here. So this is the loop. Thank God we discovered this right in the beginning. Thank you for letting me know. So right here on this slide, the left side right here, that's the loop. This is what it looks like when a brilliant, capable person, a talented woman or man, stays trapped in their paradigm year after year. The years change, the calendar change, but the results stay the same. In 2026, you say, I'm still stuck. 2027, I don't know where to begin. I'm scared. What if I fail? And then I want you to look at the right side. This is after you have made the decision, after you said, I'm willing to better myself and I'm going to go after what you wrote on Monday, your dream, your vision. That is exactly how it looks like your future path. And it begins with a decision. When you step out of the loop and go after what you came here to do, what your heart truly, really desires, this is how your life can look like. When you're finally choosing yourself, when you're finally choosing happiness, success, abundance over fear, over worry, or over self-doubt. The difference between these two paths is not talent. It is not luck. It is not circumstance. It is a decision and a system and a mentor. And let me show you how all of those three could help you. Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher, his partner, realized that the success is not an accident. It is a system. They took 75 years of intensive research into the science of human potential and distilled it into a step-by-step sequential program. It is called Thinking into Results. This is not a course you just binge watch over a weekend. It is a 6-month transformational journey designed to reprogram your paradigm in the exact sequence it needs, one building block after another at a time. There are 12 modules. Each one rests perfectly on the one before. If you skip one, you fail. This is why I love so much about this program. Because it's designed, guaranteed to give you the results that you're searching if you're willing to stay the course. So let me walk you through the program quickly and show you what it's all about. Slides. Okay. What I love about this program is that it doesn't just help you achieve a goal. It helps you become the person who can achieve any goal. We begin by helping you get emotionally connected to a vision that is bigger than your current circumstances, a vision that pulls you forward, a vision that demands growth, because ordinary goals create ordinary results. But a worthy goal awakens a different version of you. Then we identify the invisible programming that has been keeping you stuck, the patterns, the beliefs, the habits, the stories that you have been repeating in your mind without even realizing it. So, because once you understand what's really controlling your results, you stop blaming yourself and you start changing the source. As you move through the program, something incredible begins to happen. You stop fighting yourself. The internal battle, the internal war starts to disappear. The things you know the things you know you should do becomes the things you naturally do. Instead of forcing success, you become aligned with it. You also learn how to stop allowing your past to dictate your future. Most people live from memory. They keep recreating yesterday because they keep thinking from yesterday. This work helps you break that cycle. You begin creating from vision instead of history and instead of memory. You begin creating from possibility instead of limitation. You create from purpose instead of fear. You develop a completely new way of thinking. Not reacting, not worrying, not overanalyzing, real thinking, creative thinking, productive thinking, the kind of thinking that generates solutions, it generates opportunities, it creates ideas, and it creates breakthroughs. And as your thinking changes, your self-image changes, your identity changes. You begin seeing yourself differently, not as someone trying to become successful, but as someone who already possesses the potential for success within them. Because you can never outperform the image you hold of yourself. When your self-image expands, your results naturally expand with it. You will also learn how to move through fear instead of being controlled by the fear. Because every single meaningful goal, every time you step into something unfamiliar, will activate uncertainty. Every meaningful goal will trigger doubt. Every meaningful goal will challenge your comfort zone. The difference is that you learn how to keep moving anyways. You move through the wall of fear. Why? Because it's just imaginary. It's not real. You stop seeing fear as a stop sign. You start seeing it as an evidence that you're growing, that something even deeper happens. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, they begin to work together instead of fighting with each other. You stop saying one thing and doing another. You stop wanting one thing while emotionally expecting something different. You become congruent, and congruence creates power. As this transformation continues, you step into leadership, not just the leadership of a business, leadership of your life, leadership of your decisions, leadership of your future. You become someone who responds instead of reacts, someone who creates instead of waits, someone who leads instead of following. And perhaps one of the most beautiful shifts of all is that you begin operating from abundance. You will learn how to add value everywhere you go, how to leave people better than you found them. We call this the impression of increase. How to become a person who naturally attracts opportunities, relationships, resources, and wealth from within because of the value you bring. And finally, this work is designed to ensure your transformation does not appear after a few weeks of motivation, because motivation fades, but paradigm shifts, they last forever. You will also learn how to build a foundation that allows you to continue growing, expanding, and creating results long after this program ends. So when people ask me what thinking into results is, I tell them it's not really a program about money. It's not really a program about setting goals. It's a program about becoming the person your dreams require, becoming the frequency of the life you want. Because the version of yourself that your future has been waiting for, it's right on the inside of you, waiting for you to unlock it. So 12 modules, 6 months, plus 3 additional bonus months, which makes it 9 months together, one complete transformation. And here's the thing, this system works, but only when it's applied in sequence with support and with a mentor who holds you accountable every single step of the way. If you're trying to piece all these pieces together alone, from YouTube videos, from free webinars, from scattered books, it's exactly why so many brilliant women and men are still in the same place they were 3 years ago. The system is not the problem. The missing piece is the mentor. And speaking of mentorship, this brings me to the most important things I want to share with you tonight. Bob Proctor said it better than anyone ever has. I would not have accomplished anywhere near what I have accomplished without any mentor. If you want to win in a big way, you want to get a mentor. Bob had only 2 months of formal high school education. 2 months, not a degree, not an MBA, no fancy credentials, and yet he built a global business. He changed millions of lives. He became one of the most respected teachers of human potential in the world. How? He said, I spent nearly a decade starting success, not alone, but with the 3 or 4 phenomenal mentors in the world. Getting a mentor is like having a direct pipeline from their minds into yours. All of their wisdom, all of their experiences, all the decades of study delivered straight into your mind. He said, you don't have to go from A to B. You can just go from A to Z or A to G, just like that. That is the power of mentorship. It collapses times. It eliminates the trial and the error, and it shows you the shortcut. Research shows that if you set a goal by yourself, your chance to achieving it is between 10 to 25%. But if you have a committed accountability partner, someone who holds you to your word, checks in, and challenges you, your success rate jumps to 95%. 95%. Bob said, accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the result. Getting excited about a goal is easy, but what happens on a Tuesday morning in 3 weeks after you set your goal, when you're tired, when a client cancels, and when your paradigm starts whispering, this is too hard. Let's just go back to the way things were. And if you're alone in that moment, that's when you quit. I have seen it happen hundreds of times. And it happened to me many times before. Brilliant, capable, talented women and men who had every piece of the information that they needed, and they quit. Not because they lacked intelligence, not because they lacked desire, but because they were alone when the paradigm fought back. A mentor sees more potential in you than you see in yourself, and it brings it out of you. I saw that in you the moment you said yes to this challenge. I see it in the questions you ask. I see it in the fact that you're still here on day 6 on a bonus session when most people have already moved on. Do you see it in yourself? And if not, that is exactly why you need a mentor. Because sometimes your mentor sees who you really are before you do. And before I tell you what the next step looks like, I want you to hear straight from Bob himself. So I would like to play a video for you.
Question that I'm asked everywhere I go. I've traveled all over the world. Is it important to have a mentor? Well, I guess you can be very successful without one, and probably some people do. But I would not have accomplished anywhere near what I have accomplished without a mentor. I have had a number of mentors, and my whole life has changed dramatically. I went from going nowhere to having a business that operates all over the world. If you want to win in a big way, you want to get a mentor. It's almost like getting a direct pipeline from their mind to your mind, where you're gaining all their wisdom, all their experience, and all the studying that they've done over a number of years. And like that, you get it all in a short period of time. Are mentors important? Well, I'm going to tell you, mentors literally changed the course of my life.
Before I met Bob Proctor, I was running a thriving law practice, and I had what most people thought of as real success. But from time to time, I'd think about doing something different. And then one day, I found myself in a Bob Proctor seminar, and I decided right then and there, I wanted to do what this man was doing. I wanted to be in his inner circle. And I wanted to create a program with him to bring to the executives and the directors and the companies that I'd been working with for over the last 2 decades. This was a big change, and I am so grateful I had Bob Proctor to be my mentor as I went through this big transition. Bob says that having a mentor changed the course of his life. Well, having Bob as my mentor changed the course of my life. It's very easy to get into a routine in life, to do the same thing over and over. I've come to learn that every day can be an exciting adventure, but we have to make it that way. And to do that, we have to stretch. We have to set aside limitations and follow our dream. Now I am Bob Proctor's business partner and co-founder of the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Like Bob, mentors have changed the course of my life, and they can change the course of your life too.
Let's take a look at what thinking into results is and what it could do for you, how it came about. You see, my life had changed dramatically. I went from earning nothing to earning over $1 million a year. And I was sitting one day and I was thinking, how did all this happen? Do you know, I was reading Think and Grow Rich, I was studying Earl Nightingale's material, but a lot of people have read those books and studied Earl's material, and they weren't accomplishing what I was accomplishing. So I had to ask myself, what am I doing so different? You see, I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I didn't think I was that bright. I was also raised to believe if you don't go to school, you can't win. Well, I hadn't gone to school. I went to high school for about 2 months. I didn't have a good job. I owned the entire company. Now, don't get the idea that I think school isn't important. I think school is vitally important. I see study and school as being almost sacred. It's very important. But I couldn't figure out why I won, and so I started to study. I was very curious. It took me 9.5 years, and I got the dots to connect. That was after working with 3 or 4 phenomenal mentors. And when I got the dots to connect, all I wanted to do was teach it. And that's all I've been doing. And then I run into a young lady who is my business partner today, Sandy Gallagher. And she put together a master plan. And to cut a long story short, she said, Bob, I've studied everything that you teach. I know exactly what you know. I want to make a program. And she would get me in front of a camera and she'd say, explain this. And so I would. And then explain that. And she put together one of the most comprehensive programs I believe that you'll ever find anywhere in the market. Do you know with this program, you can change everything in your life in a matter of months. See, we're born and raised with the idea that it takes a long time to accomplish something. You can accomplish, bang, just like that. You don't go from A to B, you can go from A to G just like that with thinking into results. Do you see, what she's done is pick the very best out of my mind that I have studied and practiced for the last 50 years, and you get it in a program with 12 short, powerful lessons and an action planner that'll spin your head around on a dime. You can walk away from this and you can say, well, this isn't for me. Or you can say, I'm going to do this. And you know, in 6 months, you're going to need a telescope to look back and see where you started. I believe it's the most powerful program you can ever lay your hands on, because you not only learn why you win, you learn why you're not doing what you really want to do, and then, bang, how to change it.
I did create that program that I set out to create after I first saw Bob Proctor in that seminar, and that program is Thinking into Results. I wanted to help people get out of their own way. As an attorney, I saw many brilliant people getting stuck. Despite all their diplomas and credentials, they weren't getting the results that they wanted, and they didn't know why. I created Thinking into Results with Bob to show executives and entrepreneurs and employees worldwide how to get the results they wanted by thinking in a certain way. Our objective is to get thinking into results in every home because it helps the young and the old alike expand their horizons and live their dreams.
If you want to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, it's all here. Thinking into Results is going to show you how to get it. If what I've said, or what Sandy Gallagher may have said, really triggered something in your mind and you're thinking maybe, contact the certified PGI consultant on this page. Hit the button, leave the information. Do yourself a favor. Sit down and talk to them about what this program can do for you. This very well could be the decision that will change the rest of your life, and you'll enjoy it forever.
The decision that can change the rest of your life, and then you can enjoy it forever. How beautiful is that? That is why mentorship is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is your insurance, it is your success insurance policy. And that is exactly what we do here in Thinking into Results. So I do not want you to just take my word for it. I want you to hear it from a woman and a man who are sitting exactly where you are right now. Woman and a man who had the same doubts, the same fears, the same questions. Woman and man who made the decision anyway, and whose lives are completely different because of it today. And here I want you to watch their testimonials.
My name is Marie Basenga. I'm from Southern California. I'm 46 years old, and I'm a physical therapist.
My name is John Basenga. I'm a marketing director with World Financial Group.
Thinking into Result has helped me in a lot of ways because it increased my awareness in a lot of things. With Thinking into Results, it just brings you to, oh, you're not there yet. There's a lot of things more to achieve.
Thinking into Results helped me in my mindset, basically, my attitude toward things, the belief that I have for myself and my self-image.
It's kind of like chaotic in a way because I'm doing a lot of things. I'm a physical therapist, and then I own a residential care facility for the elderly. I don't have really a direction. Thinking into Results helped me decide on what I really want, what my goal is, what do I really want to pursue in life. I think that's the best thing that this program has helped me.
And the same thing for me, with my goal setting. That's the thing that, I wasn't really focused on before. Basically goal setting and then achieving the goals that you want. And basically setting goals that are basically fantasy for me. Because before I used to set goals that I can achieve, but now I'm trying to set goals that are, kind of like a fantasy for me. Something that, it's hard to achieve. That's something that I want.
It increased my awareness about myself. It improved my self-confidence, my self-image, changes everything in my perspective. So I think those are the things that changed me with this program.
Me too. It's the self-confidence, it's the belief, things that, I wasn't thinking that I can do before, has changed my self-image because before I used to focus on my current results, and now I don't focus on that anymore. I focus on what I want.
I think it's accountability. Because we're in the same program, I think what really helped us is that when somebody is not on the right track, we just kind of like correct, not correct, but remind the other person, I remind him and he reminds me that TIR, Thinking into Results, that we need to make a decision and we have to be in the same page.
Yeah, and also, when we have adversities in life, we always go back to the lessons that we learned in Thinking into Results. It could be from, we need to set the right goals for our, for the next 10 years, right? Or it's, sometimes it's the Thinking into Results, right? Or sometimes it's the what lesson is that? Power of praxis. You know, aligning your belief with behavior. So we always go back. It's kind of like it built like a foundation for us when we have adversities that's going on in our family's life.
Just reminding each other about the mental faculties that we need to focus on instead of the different sensory factors that is all over in this world, trying to tell you to react instead of responding. So I guess that's one of the things that really helped us too.
So it helped a lot because, you know, when I started a program thinking into results, I started attracting the right people in my business. Before, because my thoughts was like, you know, I'm not good enough. You know, I think I'm not the right leader for my team. But after changing my thoughts about that, you know, adding self-belief in myself, changing my self-image, I think the results actually really flourish. Because right now I'm attracting the right people. I'm not attracting the right people in my business as well.
I think it's the same way. Like thinking of what you want, what kind of people you want to attract. I think that's because I also help him in our business, in our World Financial Group business, and I think that really helped us attract a lot of good people, and even talk to them, and interact with them in a way that we're keeping in mind the right perspective and everything, and I think that's great. With my son, it's amazing because my son is he's 21 years old and he's going for aerospace engineering in Cal State Long Beach. And what I really, because I'm sharing it with him, whatever I learn here, I'm sharing it with him, and he always tells me. One time he was in the airplane and he was telling me about he wants to have a window seat, and he didn't get a window seat. He was in the middle of the airplane, and he said, and he was thinking like, I want a window seat, and then finally at the end he got the window seat, and he just called me and texted me, Mom, thinking into results. Like he was thinking that whatever even in school, he was he was telling me about it, that like whatever he thinks, it happens, or whatever he visualizes, it happens.
Yes, also, you know, we have a son who's 4 years, turning 4 by January. And, you know, what I can teach him right now is just by setting good examples for him. Because I remember when you told me this paragraph before, you know, what you can't fix, your kids can will inherit. So basically, I just want to set, you know, the right examples for my kids. I think for me, it's the attitude. That's the magic word, right? The attitude. Because, you know, in everything that you do in life, it's all about your attitude. It's all about how you look, how you see things. Because whatever you attitude, whatever you think, is going to be your feelings. Whatever you're feeling is going to be your action, and that determines your attitude. I think for me, that's my the best lesson I learned from TIR.
I think it's the same, the attitude. Like it's whatever we how do we respond to certain situations or adversities in life, or if we are setting the right goals and something is just there and trying to block whatever we want to achieve, then the right attitude will just come in, and we're going to be able to trample that terror barrier. Every lesson that we learned in every week that we were in the program, I think is vital. And earlier you were saying what's important, and I think everything is important. Every part of it is important.
Yes, as you know, in our business, there's a lot of ups and downs. And before, we used to focus a lot on the downs. So let's say we got, a chargeback, or let's say we have a team member that quits. We always focus on that. But since after thinking the results, now we focus on what we can do, right, to move forward. So that really helped a lot in our business. And moving forward, with our goals with our business, we're on track to hitting that goals that we want for our business as well.
And I think it also kind of, in a way, with our associates, what happened is that we also infected them of how we our attitude. I think it's the same way. Like we share with them whatever we're learning from the program.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing.
When I first started the program, I used to vape, right? So personally, that's one of the biggest achievement that I've done when I started the program. I think it was the first month when I started the program. And I used to vape a lot. I used to vape for 4 years, and I've been trying to quit, and then it never really worked. So with this program, it helped me a lot to basically make a decision on quitting the vaping. And instead of thinking about quitting it, I changed my thoughts to being grateful. Not grateful, by saying the words, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm in the best shape of my life. I breathe deeply. I exercise on a daily basis. So that helped out a lot when it comes to quitting my vaping.
It's difficult to know what your paradigm is until you really dig into yourself, become aware of it. I think that thing makes you think every day. If you go on lessons every day, I think that really helps you see, this is the thing that I need to change. This is the thinking that I need to have so that the results will change.
Yep.
And another thing that I really been going back and forth is that lesson 2 and lesson 3 about the paradigm.
Yes, knowing and doing gap, that's huge, right? Especially in our business, because in our business, they train us a lot. A lot of people get trained, but the problem is they're just, educated. But the problem on that one is the doing, the gap between the knowing and doing gap, right? So if we were able to just cut the gap and start doing, then the results are going to be a lot different.
I think the gap is the wrong thinking or the paradigm that you have. So you have to really dig into yourself, become more aware of yourself, and I think that's gonna lead you to the doing.
Yes. I think it's not. It doesn't make sense for you not to do this. And let me rephrase that. I think you should do this program because it's going to add value to you. It changed my mindset a lot. It changed how I look at things. It changed my attitude. So I think this program is really worth it to all the people that I know. That's why I keep referring people to you as well.
I think it will increase value and awareness to one person. One thing that really amazed me is that when people see our growth, I think that's the thing that I think that's the measure of how will people value this program. Because if they knew what we were doing, then they will say, "What are you doing? How come you have a big change in your growth?" Or so one of our associates just decided to do it because he saw the growth in our business and he saw the growth in us. So I guess that's the selling point, or that's how we can share thinking into results to other people.
He's amazing, man. His teaching is just out of this world. I think it all makes sense. And I've listened to some of the people who are talking about, self-development and all that stuff. And most of them actually, I think they got it from Bob, or I think they got it from the book Think and Grow Rich. But the way Bob explains things it makes more sense for me. Yeah.
I always think that when I read books or listen to any podcast about about self-development, I always think about Bob Proctor, even though the speaker is different, because it's the same thing. But I like the way Bob is explaining everything, and sharing the information. And this program really is like a concise way of, if you're gonna read the Think and Grow Rich, I think this is a concise way of learning and developing yourself.
Yeah, and he's been doing this he's what, 84? He's 84.
60 years. He said that he's been reading the
He's
Think and
been-
Grow Rich for 60 something years.
So I think he's the best person to listen to.
Yes.
When it comes to, teachings. Our life is awesome. Our life is 100% amazing.
Yes. Our life is awesome.
And it's just the beginning.
Exactly.
How did you like that? I took some notes that were the highlights for me. I love how he said that their life changed in all directions. His health changed. He stopped vaping that he tried for so many years. He finally stopped vaping. He changed his self-image, that he's no longer a smoker. So he was conscious about his health. He went to do his exercises, the breathing. Ripple effect on family and their associates. Only by them doing the work, it created the ripple effect that affected everybody that they were surrounded with. It didn't just create the financial success, they created success in any area of their lives. And what he said, it was so powerful. He said, what you can't fix, your kids inherit. Think about that. What you can't fix, your kids inherit. We might have acquired or inherited our paradigms from our parents. It's not our fault. It's not their fault because they did it from their parents. But it's our responsibility to change them. So our kids don't have to walk through the same pains that we did. And one more thing, he said, before thinking into results, their minds were focused on their downs, what didn't work. They were focused on their problems. And do you see how when we talked, if you stay in the loop, you recreate the same results over and over? But now they focus on solution. What can we do today that will move towards the path of our goal, towards the direction of our goal? I took so many notes. Isn't this powerful? Isn't this a testimony that is convincing your subconscious mind that if it's possible for them, it's possible for you, for everybody, because they're not different. They started exactly where you are today. When is going to be your turn? When is going to be your turn to make the committed decision and start living the life that you wrote on Monday? And I say, how about now? How about you start now and finally take control over what's controlling you? So I have one more surprise for you today. I have here on the call Fernanda. Fernanda Lugo, she joined the Thinking into Results, my coaching program, last month. She made a committed decision for changing her life. And just being a month into the program, she already had a lot of transformation. So I'm going to bring her on in just a second so you can hear directly from her how this is already helping her. Hello, Fernanda. Can you hear me? Welcome in.
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you so much for coming here, joining us live. Like I said, you just joined last month into Thinking to Results. If you can share with us, what was the turning point? Why did you make the decision? Why this mattered to you? And where were you before? And how is this already helping you? I know you just started, you're just a month into it. How is it already helping you in your transformation?
Well, hi everyone. I'm Fernanda. I'm 30 years old and I'm from Mexico. Where I was before I started this program, I was just at a point where I knew that something needed to change because I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted in my life. To give you a little bit of context about my process and in my life, I started into this work, not this specific work, but it's always been very natural to me to connect with my spirituality, and I've always been very curious about this personal work, you know. So when I was 15 years old, and this is something funny, that actually one of the first authors that I connected with was Bob Proctor through the documentary of the Secret. I remember when I saw that after reading the book, I was really shocked about the information about the power of the mind and all of this. So I remember while I was in high school looking at his videos. And throughout my life, I've been doing a lot of things, like different kind of therapies, access consciousness, Reiki, different kind of things, different kind of courses, read different books, and I just got into a point of my life where I thought that I had so much information that it was so overwhelming because for a period of times I felt this motivation and I was like into this motivation that doing things, but at a certain point I was quitting and I was going back to the old patterns and I didn't knew why, and I was being so hard to myself, you know, because I knew I had all this information, but I still didn't got the results that I wanted. So after I made, so this was like the before, but I just knew deep in my heart that I needed to make a decision. I remember I saw a picture days before that said, "Decisions are portals." And when I made the decision to join this program, and I mean, writing down my goal was easy for me because all my life I've been connecting with that desire. But what came after that, which is the paradigms, what really made like a huge shift within myself. To give you a little bit of context, I grew up with a single mother. So all of my life, it was like obvious to me that one of the biggest wounds that I had to work on was the abandonment, because I grew up without my dad. So all these years I've been working on that, and I got to a point where I was feeling like, okay, I really think that I really did everything that was in my hands to heal all these wounds, and all these limiting beliefs that are connecting to this, but I still don't have the results that I want. So I wasn't getting it. And one of the sessions I had with Vesna was something that really shifted inside of me. I just remember it was like a long session, and she started asking questions about my story, about my childhood, and she was making very specific questions that everything just started to come up. And it was like I became aware that I wasn't seeing the full picture. Like the most obvious way that was that my father was absent, and because of that, I was connect. I developed a lot of limiting beliefs because of that. But there was a part I wasn't seeing, which was the part of my all the limiting beliefs that I received through my mom and my modern lineage. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I love her and I honor her, and like I love her so much, but it was not about the blame, it was about the awareness about that. And I remembered during the session when it's like all the cards were on the table, and I was like shocked, because never before in my life, I don't know how much time it will take me from myself to figure it out by myself. But having her making those specific questions, one right after the other one, and I remember we did like 3 different kind of like techniques that after the session, during the session, during one of the techniques, I connected with my inner child, and I built this connection with her, and it gave me like the power to connect with my adult self and to act from a different point. So I mean, and it's been only a month. It's not like I have the $1 million in my bank account yet, but just, I mean, the biggest highlight for me is that now I'm able to see the whole picture, like the whole forest, because I feel like I was actually seeing a tree and trying to connect with the result that I wanted just by looking at this, you know. And this is what I think for me, it's the biggest like realization, that actually that's one of the paradigms as well. Since I grew up with a single mother, I was seeing that my mom was doing everything for us. She did an amazing job, but I grew up thinking that I could do it by myself. But if you want to go far, like, you don't have to do this alone. It's okay to have help and to have someone to help you get the most of this. Like, the way I see it, it's like, I mean, for example, after having all of this information after seeing this paradigm, it's not like a magic wand. It's not like you see it and you get the result. you have to work to get there. And
you have to demolish the old house in order to build a new one, right?
absolutely. And it's like when I saw all of this information, it's like I got into a new level of awareness, but it's like I was up at the bottom of that new level. So there was like a gap that I need to fill in. And if I do it by myself, it's like I'm at the bottom. It's going to take me some time to get to the top. And sometimes I'm not motivated. And sometimes like it's easy to get to the old patterns. So that's why most of the time, like in my past, it was easy to me to connect with it because it was by myself. I was by myself, but now having Vesna's perspective and having a mentor, it's helping me to get to the top, to the higher level of the new awareness, and actually like starting acting different. You know, it's obviously an everyday decision, but
because you can't see the label if you when you're inside the jar. You need somebody. We all have blind spots, right? So somebody holding your hand to show you like, okay, this is what I see, and things click just like that. And I think that's what happened to you, which is so beautiful and profound.
and of course, my goal is connected with my personal wants and my professional, which is at the same time like one main goal. But it's very interesting because I work in logistics and in sales, and it's like when you start making a decision, it's like magic. It's like actually, as I said before, like decisions are portals, and things started to happen around me. Like, because you know, when we yesterday when we on the YouTube and we were talking about everything is frequency, everything is energy. The energy and the frequency I was 2 months ago wasn't matching the results that I wanted to, and after I started the program, it's like I've been making a decision every day, which is taking me to like I'm not at the same point where I started, and I'm like it's like after that, like my boss started. He came one Monday morning. We had our meetings every Monday, or the commercial team, and he was like, I have this new idea. We're gonna start doing things differently. And I like it's like if all of a sudden the energy of the department started operating differently. Like the dynamic, it's more, everything's bringing new ideas, and I don't know. I like to think that I was part of that because I shift something within me, and just the universe is reflecting that back. And you know, this is the co-creating part, and I don't know. It's just something that I don't know if I told you about this, Vesna, but no, I haven't. But last week, I went to a networking event, and before attending, I drove to the place, and I was in my car, and I did a little meditation, and I connected with that future self, and I put an intention. The first thing was that I wanted to actually enjoy the event. I wanted to have fun and actually enjoy it. And I wanted to connect with people who will help me to get to the result that I want. So those were the main intentions that I put. I got to the event, And I met someone who we started talking. He was asking me about what I do, da da da, da. And he was like, "Oh, are you part of this group?" And he showed me his phone. As I told you, I work in logistics, and he was like, "This is a new cluster that I know the president of this cluster," and he showed me the WhatsApp group, and the WhatsApp group has around 800 members. Like they're so fun. And he was like, this is I know the president, so I think I can get you into this WhatsApp group. And actually next week, which is next Tuesday, there's an event that I can also send you the link, so you can register. And since you're gonna be a member, they're like, you can go for free. And I was like, what? I was like, yes, please, thank you so much. So, I went back home and I was like, okay, I mean,
You created something.
actually like me creating this new reality. Like if imagine if I had a bad day and I just go to the event with a different, like what? Like I created this, I put this intention, and this is the life that I'm creating. So Monday morning, like next day, I think it was Friday. Yeah, last Friday, he texted me like, "Yes, I got. You're in the WhatsApp group. Da-da-da. You can present yourself. We'll see next Tuesday, which is like next week." So I don't know. I'm actually really excited about where am I right now, and all the things that I know that are gonna keep entering into my life because I'm in this new frequency and I'm making the decision to go after my goal. And every day it's a little bit easier because I did the work yesterday, and it's easier to get into this new loop.
Yes.
So
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your personal story and how you were able to close that chapter finally, free yourself. Because look at how are you able all to see this vibration, this positivity? Look at her energy. Like that is magnetism.
thank you so
Because
much.
that is the point, to become the version of you who you want to be, because this is the version that attracts. This is the version you are right now that attracts the results that you want, not the victim one, not the one that felt sorry because something happened, none of it, that wasn't your fault, right? But we ended that chapter. That's no longer the echo, the lenses through which you're doing life. Now you're doing life for a completely different lenses. And I'm so happy and grateful that you're in my space and that you're already creating an amazing results. So thank you so much being here with me and everybody else that is watching this replay, this live, that I wish you continuous success, and I'll see you in our next coaching call.
Thank you so much, Vesna. Thank you so
You're
much.
very welcome. Bye-bye. All right. That was absolutely beautiful. There's nothing more special than watch someone in front of your eyes transform. This is the fire. Why do I do what I do? Because there's nothing more special, more beautiful when you watch another human being coming out from victim into this beautiful, energetic, divine human who it's our birthright to be. So that is the possibility for everybody. And that is exactly why I want to invite you to have a conversation with me. Not a sales call, not a pitch, a real conversation, just the two of us, where we'll look at your specific situation, where we calculate your paradigm tax together, where we talk about what has been holding you back and whether the thinking into results is genuinely the right fit for you. There is no pressure, there is no obligation. If it is, then we will map out the exact map what the next 6 months of your life would look like. This call is for people who are tired of the loop, people who are ready to explore what is possible on the other side of their paradigm. And if that is you, then I want to hear from you. Drop a message in the chat, reach out directly to me, and the link is in your email, the Calendly. You can book your call and we will find a time to talk. And finally, I want to give you a message that I want you to carry with you tonight. Cindy Gallagher said, the partner of Bob Proctor, people who are interested in something, they only do what's convenient for them. People who are committed will do it no matter what. I shared my no matter story on Thursday. Fernanda found her no matter last month when she joined. The future was a lot more important to her than the cost, the paradigm cost that she was paying. So my question to you is, are you interested in changing your life, or are you committed? And I want to leave you with this final image. To take a look at this hourglass, to close your eyes and picture it. Look at the sand that's falling through right now. That is today. That is this moment, the falling sand. That is the only moment that you have absolute control. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Just like Bob Proctor told me, Vesna, do not think about what is behind you. Do not think what is in front of you. Think about what you can do here and now, because it's later than you think. It is later than you think. And the most powerful thing you can do right now, in this moment, with this sand, is reach out and book that conversation with me, because you deserve to know what is possible for you. You deserve to have someone sit with you, look at your life and say, here is exactly what's holding you back. Here's exactly how we fix it. Just like I had that long conversation with Fernanda that she was not able to see. She knew there was something, but she cannot pinpoint what was it. And just like I said before, like my mentor Les Brown told me, Vesna, you cannot see the label from inside the jar. You need somebody. This is a serious job. You need someone to hold you, because the paradigm, it's a big thing. When that thing hits, just like Fernanda said, it's easy to go into bondage. I've been there, and so many of you have been there, because if you have not, you wouldn't be here on this call with me. You'll be a lot further away that you don't need me. So you have done the hard part. You showed up here for 6 straight days. You did the work. You asked the questions. You stayed until the bonus round. Now, take the next step and book your call, because you don't know how much is left. Life is short. Make it worth it living. Find your why. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. That was beautiful. And I will see you tomorrow with the most powerful session of this challenge. Take care. Bye-bye.